Okay, welcome back, everyone. Professor Cordy here. Um, let's go ahead and move on with our problem solving. First of all, I hope you had a good week. I hope it's been good. We had a bit of snow, but that's fine. But I hope you're all safe and wise, so to speak. So let's go ahead and move on. Last week we talked about identifying a problem. And there were a number of things that we do. Now, we are faced with problems pretty much throughout the day. Now, most of our problems do not require, shall I say, in-depth problem-solving techniques. Okay, uh, look at my teacup; it's empty. That's a problem. So what I can do? Go fill it back up. We don't really spend a lot of time, but when it comes to critical thinking and problem solving, we do have to analyze and make sure that two things. First of all, that we identify the problem correctly. Second thing is that we're not substituting symptoms of a problem for the problem itself. Now, I did talk a little bit last week about, how I think you go out in the morning, your car doesn't start. Well, what's the problem? The car's not starting? Well, no, that's a symptom of something that's not working properly. And it could be if you work on it for a while, narrowing it down to being maybe you have a dead battery. That is the problem. Okay. Doesn't allow the car to start, but that is the problem. So, anyways, what I want to do, we're going to move on now to actually solving the problem, coming up with potential solutions and whatnot. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead. First of all, let's go to the course site just so I can show you what's going to happen this week. Again, we started, we finished up last week at 11:59 p.m. on the 2nd, February 2nd. And now we're starting on February 2nd, and we're going to run through February 9 at 11:59 p.m. Again, remember running through the end of the day, 1 week from Tuesday to Tuesday. So do was your problem solving part one, identifying and defining problems and assignments. Okay. Hopefully you got all those in. Hopefully you all submitted those. Again, there would have been several sheets you would have had to complete it. Hope you got those in. If you didn't get them in soon so we can get your points in. Now, we're actually going to start, and you're doing it right now. You're watching my introductory YouTube channel video. We're going to be in playlist two. You probably have already figured that out since we're here. There are also a couple of other videos in this playlist, but this is the introductory video for playlist two, problem solving part two. Now, as we did last time, you will find in the assignments and quizzes section of Blackboard, there is a folder, problem solving and decision making. And in that folder, you will find part two, identifying and defining a problem. Okay, there's a folder. And in that is the fact sheet, which we'll cover here in a second, and the worksheets, again, 7 of them for you to complete that correspond to the course text. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this share. And I'm now going to put up the actual fact sheet for the week. Let's take a look at it here. Here's the fact sheet for part two. As you can see, first is gathering and analyzing data. Now, what do we mean by data? A lot of times people think of data as numbers. Well, that is absolutely true. Data is certainly numbers, but data can also be facts, could be ideas, could be symptoms, could be concerns. It's not just related to numbers. So it is anything that relates to what your end result might be. Could be numbers. Okay. I mean, if you're analyzing, for example, back to the car, didn't start. If you put on a multimeter and you saw that, which should be a normally 12.5 volts is down to 11 volts, there's a number, there's a numerical data that will tell you there's a problem with the battery. However, just by simply turning on the lights and seeing the lights don't work will tell you, well, that's obviously data. It's not numbers, but it is data saying, uh, we got a problem and it's probably the battery. So again, that's what we're talking about, gathering and analyzing data. The more data you can obtain, the better off your decision making will be and your final decision will be. Developing alternatives. Now, yes, there are multiple alternatives pretty much for every potential problem. Now, some are going to be far-fetched. Some are going to be very, oh, yeah, I knew that. Now, generally speaking, the alternative that is the easiest and simplest is probably, not always, but probably the best alternative. Okay. But I'm going to leave it at that. We're not going to talk about, I'm not going to suggest that it's always that way, but it is certainly in a lot of cases that way. Now, there is a video generating multiple alternatives for solving each strategic problem, and every problem we'll call it strategic. Then you can read the book, and then you can do the fact sheet. Next, you're going to look at your options. Okay, now you have alternatives, and from those alternatives, you're going to narrow it down to some potential options. You're not going to consider all the alternatives. You're probably going to pick the best ones. And those are what we consider the options. What are my options to solve this problem? Now, we don't have a video, but I think you already know kind of what the concept of option is, but you can read it there on pages 30, 31, and then complete the worksheet. Now, implementing the solution. Once you identify all the alternatives, narrow it down to your best options, you're going to come up with the best solution. Might not be the correct solution, but it might be the best solution. There could be multiple solutions to solving a problem, but again, usually the simplest one is your best one to follow. Okay, but doesn't mean they're all simple. So again, implementing solution, there is a video, implementing solutions in YouTube that follow this video in playlist two. Again, watch the video if you like, read 32 to 33, complete the worksheet. Once you implement a solution, you're not done. Okay, you need to monitor it and manage it. Okay, you have to make sure that, first of all, you implemented the solution correctly and that it is working correctly. The solution may be right, but there might be other factors that don't let it work well. So you kind of have to monitor it. Do you have to monitor it forever? No, it depends on the situation. Now, back to the car battery. Okay, you put in a new battery. Okay, you might be a little hesitant, but you're going to watch it. You're going to try the lights. You're going, maybe for a day you can say, yeah, okay, and then after that, you won't be as concerned because you'll know everything is functioning correctly, and you won't worry about it again. So that's an example. Verifying the solution, in other words, you realize it works. It's good. I monitored, I managed it, everything seems to be working fine. A-okay, I'm ready to go. And then adaptive techniques just tells you how to adapt just to make sure that you are verifying the solution correctly, but it'll talk about that. That's kind of an automatic thing with verifying. And then developing ethical solutions. Now, ethics, what do we mean by ethics? Well, there are ethical solutions which basically, if you apply the solution, is the best possible solution for all circumstances. In other words, if you are working on a solution for a business solution, the ethical solution would be the solution that works, that does the most good for the company, for the employees, for the customers, for whatever the case might be. Okay. Doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone, but for the majority. It's kind of like a majority rules. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at with ethical. Is it the best way? Does it do the most good? Now, it doesn't always mean that there won't be some not so good, because that happens sometimes. Okay. But, excuse me, again, what is going to do the least harm? Maybe is another way of looking at it. Okay, so think about that. All right. So again, we do have that. I don't have a video on that, but I think everyone pretty much has an idea of ethics and what does it mean. But the book does a fairly good job of providing that. So pages 40, 41. read it, complete the worksheet. Now, when you're done, as you've done in the past or last week, you can either upload each of these worksheets one at a time, or you can upload them all at the same time. Okay, all you do is just click the, trying to remember, oh, part two, solving the problem assignment link, and then it gives you the option of uploading. All right. So let me go ahead and stop that and come on back here. I can see don't have a very good hair day, but that's okay. So I guess that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. We have identified the problem. Now we're going to figure out the best solution and implementing the solution. Okay. I think that should cover everything we're going to need for this week, as always. If you ever run into problems, please let me know. Send me an email. More than happy to get back and work something out with you. If you'd like to have a Zoom face to face on this, more than glad to do the same thing. But don't wait until the last minute. All right. I guess that's it. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.